React hooks are special functions in React that let you use features like state and side effects in your components. Before hooks, you had to use class components to do these things. Now you can build your whole app using just simple functions, which makes your code shorter and easier to understand. Let's build a simple to-do list app from scratch, introducing hooks one by one as our application grows. Before we dive into hooks, let's see how we would manage state in a class component. In this class component, we initialize the state in the constructor, and we use this.setState to update it. The logic is spread across different methods. Now, let's see how hooks simplify. Let's start off with the state hook. useState is the most fundamental hook. It allows you to add React state to function components. useState is a function that takes one argument, the initial state. It returns an array containing two elements, the current state value and a function that lets you update it. Think of useState as a way to give your function component a memory. You tell it what the initial value is, and it gives you back the current value and a tool to change that value later. Let's refactor our to-do list to use a functional component and useState. Notice how much cleaner this is. There's no this dots, no constructor, and the state logic is grouped together. We call useState to create our state variables, items and new item, and their corresponding updater functions, setItems and setNewItem. Moving on to useEffect. useEffect lets you perform side effects in function components. Side effects are operations that interact with the outside world, like data fetching. useEffect is like telling your component, hey, after you're done rendering yourself on the screen, run this piece of code. You can also tell it to run that code only when specific things change. Let's enhance our to-do list to save the items to the browser's local storage whenever the list is updated. This way, the list will persist even if we refresh the page. This is the key part. The first argument is the function to run or the effect, and the second argument is the dependency array. This tells React to only rerun the effect if the item's state has changed since the last render. If you pass an empty array, the effect runs only once, after the initial render. If you exclude the dependency array, the effect runs after every render. Next is useContext. Imagine you have a piece of information like a user's name or a theme preference that many components in your app need. Instead of passing it down as a prop from component to component, you can put it in a global container called a context. Any component that needs it can then directly ask the context for that information. Let's add a theme to our app. We'll create a theme context that provides the current theme to all components. First, create the context file. We'll name it themecontext.js. Next, wrap our main app component with the theme provider. Finally, use the context within to-do list with useContext. Now, any component wrapped by theme provider can access the theme and toggle theme function without them being passed as props. Finally, the ref hook. useRef is like having a box where you can keep something. useRef returns a mutable ref object whose .current property is initialized to the passed argument initial value. The returned object will persist for the full lifetime of the component. For DOM elements, you can give this box to a JSX element like input, and myBox.current will hold the actual HTML input element, letting you do things like focus it or get its value directly. You can also store any value in myBox.current, like a timer ID or a previous state value. The key is that changing this value does not cause your component to re-render. Let's add a feature to our to-do list to automatically focus the input field when the component first loads. Now when the to-do list mounts, the useEffect hook runs and inputRef.current.focus puts the user's cursor directly into the input field ready to type.